Like many other Terrarians, I first started playing this game on mobile. I got the game back in high school and spent countless hours playing it. When I started playing, the mobile version still was only on 1.2, so Duke Fishron and Okram was the last boss available. It took very long to ever get access to the cool new things in 1.3. However, nowadays the support for mobile is almost as good as PC, or just as good depending on how you think of it. And while I graduated playing the PC version years ago, the mobile version still has a special place in my heart for all the time I spent playing it. However, whenever I did finally play on PC, there was one thing that was apparent: the controls on PC are significantly better. Now that 1.3 and subsequently 1.4 have been added to mobile, thought I'd go back one more time and see if the controls are really as bad as I remember. Surprisingly, they weren't so bad, but to test it, I'll be completing the legendary mode GetFixedBoi or Zenith Seed on mobile using touch controls, so no external controller allowed, such as an Xbox controller. This is the first time I've used these controls in a long time, so it took some getting used to, and dodging is significantly more difficult, which leads to some pretty creative ways to beat certain bosses. Mounts and rails become your best friend on mobile, as it takes the effort of dodging completely out of the picture, frees up some slots for other accessories. There was one mount in particular that really surprised me at how good it was, which you'll see later, particularly in hard mode, when I used it to beat Duke Fishron on the first try. This is the pre-hard mode section. The seed was very difficult, progress was slow, which led to it taking a little bit too long for me to put them together, and especially because this is my first video, I'm just not too used to making this kind of videos yet. So if you would, please like, subscribe if you enjoy it, and be sure to share. I hope you enjoy. I died a countless amount of times getting to this point, but don't worry, if death is what you came for, there'll be plenty more times when that happens. In this world, I decided that Danger Sense potions were for cowards, and stupidly decided not to make any, which leads to me jumping right here onto a explosive trap, which turns me into sad meat. Right after that, I die again to a yellow slime, and yet again a zombie comes through the ceiling, kills me, combos me, hits me into a worm, and I die yet again, sending me back to spawn. Right after that, I decided to go fishing for some loot that I'll probably never use. I don't really need the money yet, don't have anything to spend it on, but I guess I just want to complete some quests. I did realize one thing though, it's that mimics cannot pass through platforms on the seed, or I think in general, which is something that I just found out. And another thing is, ice mimics have absolutely the worst loot. As you'll see here, it takes me forever to kill this mimic after I trap it, and I get an ice blade, which does no damage, and I'll replace it as soon as possible. After that, I finally have enough tattered cloth to take on the goblin army, which I do immediately. It wasn't so bad. I made a little pyramid for myself at spawn, and I only died twice while fighting them. The thunder sphere, which can actually go through walls if you're right next to it, at least the projectile can, makes it kind of a breeze, and fortunately a blood moon rises as well. I don't actually know if that increases the spawns of the goblin army, but I definitely want to get this done as fast as possible, but it does take quite a while just due to how little attack I really have. After that, I jump right into the rabies-filled mouth of a jungle bat and get sent right back to spawn where I belong. Some knockback resistance would be nice, as this jungle slime sends me right into the jaws of a man-eater, which is a very fitting name because what it does is eat man. Right here, my mount is kind of useless, and it's unfortunate to know that Vikings still kill us in 2 hits, so I definitely need more life crystals and more defense if I want to progress. Lava bat sends me right into the lava, or a jungle bat sends me right into the lava. And then here a Flinx, of all things, decides to encroach my territory, and decides to unplug my bowels, whatever that means. Here I finally see those nice little words, a bound goblin, but this bee's got other ideas and decides to combo me yet again for 4 hits to send me back to spawn, turn me into sad meat. In a fit of rage, I go fishing. Not really sure why I did this, probably some sort of quest, but honestly, I fished a whole lot in this world, and I'm just going to say it was a big waste of time. I can understand doing it if you want to, get your oars on hardcore and you don't want to risk dying, but other than that, it seemed like a pretty big waste of time for me. Somehow, I accidentally awoke the queen bee, and I do the only thing that's really acceptable at this point. I have nowhere near enough strength to kill her, so I tactically retreat to the main menu, load up my character, and despawn her. When I finally do find the goblin, I go ahead, I box them off so I can't be killed by the man-eater or the jungle bat. And then I go ahead, buy myself some fresh new kicks, also known as the rocket boots, and also the tinkerer, so I can go ahead and do some shimmer reforging as well. After I spend some time reforging my gear with the Goblin Tinkerer, I go ahead, I decide that, the 100 platinum I wasted on him is really just not gonna do him any good. So I decide, I see there's a lava cave right above me, or a lava pool right above me. Might as well go ahead and hit the Tinkerer with it, just so he can't use that money either. While flattening the underworld, or hell, for my wall of flesh fight, I go ahead, I decide to build a wall to make sure that my perfect society is not interrupted by hellbats or demons anymore. While returning home, I decide to take a little swim in my own lava pyramid, which, why I had that idea, I have no idea. I also go right to find the nurse, but of course, or I think I was going to the water instead of the nurse, which probably would have been the right idea. Don't know why I made that choice, but, it is what it is. Again, here I just step on this trap, and I think that, it's just my time. Once I step on the trap, I don't even try to dodge it. So, here I go fishing more, probably to complete some more quests. Can't wait to just sell this loot for approximately 50 silver, which I will spend on one reforge, or maybe a tenth of a reforge at the Goblin Tinkerer. Here, I get torn up by a poison dart again, yet again more traps, yet again, not sure why I don't have any sort of danger sense potions. I jump right into an antlion swarmer, which predictably kills me. Not sure what I thought there. For whatever reason, I also lost the Eye of Cthulhu fight, but honestly it wasn't that eventful. I had quite a bit of armor, quite a bit of health, so here I just take on the Brain of Cthulhu. The Blade of Grass makes this pretty easy. Plenty of knockback. I make it in the underworld. An artificial crimson so that I don't have to deal with all of the spiders and everything while building the area. And as it does send you upside down, I know that it won't go to one of the bottom two on the screen. It always has to go to the top two because there's blocks filled in there. So, not so bad either. Once the brain's been defeated, I go ahead and make myself crimson armor, which I will quickly replace with some hellstone as I go to mine it pretty much immediately right after this, at which point I'm just about ready to test my Skeletron arena as well as my Queen Bee arena. I go back and start testing my Skeletron arena, which I kind of realized that while the rails are very good at making me not get hit, the only problem is I'm not really hitting Skeletron either. So I definitely need some sort of homing weapon to go ahead and complete this fight, because with the dart casters and everything, the fight becomes very difficult, so I definitely want to have some sort of homing weapon and want to stay on these rails. Once I realize that I can't beat him, or at least not in any reasonable amount of time just yet, I think it's time to go fight the Queen Bee. So I go ahead and make a little home here to set my spawn in a hive, which not sure why I did this. I made it, I think, in a Beamination anyway, so this kind of was pretty pointless. I think maybe just to have something in the jungle, I bet. So I go ahead, I set my spawn, I go ahead, activate the Queen Bee. And for this fight, the Queen Bee has something pretty interesting. For a lot of these fights, you'll see me, I go ahead, I make it so it auto-pauses when I open the inventory. Just makes it easier sometimes for me to organize my things, catch a breath, whatever I really need. So what I do, I'm just casually using my volcano. I got as much defense as I can possibly have. And I move my conch to my hotbar so I can use it anytime I want to regain health, since the Queen Bee doesn't respawn unless you die or if you leave the world. Which I think is intentional, I don't know, but this way of beating Queen Bee I think is kind of a cheese, but honestly I don't care. This siege is pretty unforgiving, so I'm going to take anything I can use to beat these bosses. As you can see, it takes them quite a while to reach me, slowly regaining health. Doesn't really matter though. And here I've sped it up for your viewing pleasure, just so it's not that unbearable to watch. And as you can see, it still does take a very, very long time. I'm trying to avoid the Crimson Mob, and just while it's going on, I decide to make myself a little bit of a platform in the Queen Bee area, so I have some more area to fight them, and can more easily go in the honey anytime I need it as well. Anytime I get to around 200 or less, I go ahead and teleport away. Fight still does take a long time. King Slime awakes, but again, I just teleport away so he despawns. Which somehow I actually never fought him in this whole run, so you won't be seeing that if you were really wanting it. Very, very slowly whittling down his health. Once I finally beat him, I go ahead, I actually get what I was wanting, which was the bee gun, which is going to be perfect for the wall of flesh. Either this or the bee's knees would have been fine, but it didn't really matter either way. So I start out the fight, same thing as before, this is 100% the intended way to beat Skeletron, don't at me. And then here we go, just use the bee gun with the homing, makes it a whole lot simpler. I'm actually getting some damage on, I just have to wait anytime I run out of mana. I go ahead and put on the hive pack as well. Can't really hit me, so I'm not too worried about defense. So that I didn't bother reforging it or anything. But again, it's kind of a cheesy strategy, or excuse me, definitely intended. But you know, again, it's really not so bad. Once I finally beat Skeletron, I go ahead, head to the dungeon, or as Waffletime likes to call it, the Fungeon. And then I look for just a couple things. I really just need the Cobalt Shield and the Muramasa, as well as I'll talk to the mechanic, really just to get the wrenches, the wire cutters, and then some extra wire. While exploring the dungeon, I do finally find that Cobalt Shield, and while I'm doing that, I will also go ahead, I mark the locations of any biome chests I see, just in case I get those keys for later use. After organizing all my loot, I'll go ahead and put down my little alchemy table here in just a second, just so I can start saving from potion crafting. And there you could actually see the mount. It's one I picked up from fishing the lava earlier. It's not really useful yet, but it does make for some pretty cool arenas later on in hard mode, especially against Plantera. I reforge my obsidian shield to warding, and then I also go ahead and make my Knight's Edge and reforge that as well. I actually got really lucky here. I hadn't found the shimmer just yet, so I go ahead, I start doing some reforges on it, and on my very last piece of gold, I get Godly, which is good enough. I don't even know if Legendary is possible. It probably is, but Godly is always good enough as a reforge, so don't have to worry about it. At this point, I start digging upwards just to see, if I can find some Crimson or Corruption Orbs, actually, so I can see about getting the Worm Scarf, because I know that'll be useful later. And then a traveling merchant arrives. I've already got the cell phone, so I don't really need, anything from him. But just in case he has something cool, because I never really know what this guy's got, so I just go ahead. I talk to him anyways. I decided not to get the counterweight. Yo-yos are less useful, I would say, on mobile, just due to the way that you have to aim them. Without the mouse, it's a lot more difficult, so I don't even worry about it. After that, I take some time to go find my shimmer, and then I start doing some shimmer reforges, just because I don't really want to spend a whole lot of money at the Goblin Tinkerer. I've only got a couple gold, maybe one platinum at most at this point, so I'm not too worried about it. One nice thing about the shimmer that I don't know if I've done it yet in this world, but you can actually take anvils from the merchant, buy them, convert them into iron bars, which is really good sometimes whenever you want to make a bunch of buckets. Just because I think a bunch of buckets is a little bit faster than the normal way of, splitting the, water or lava or hunting in half. If you want to do something fishing, but honestly, fishing seems like a waste of time. Here, I decided to get some imp banners because I know those will be useful in the wall of flesh fight. I also got this kind of creative way of beating the wall of flesh. This way, I can kind of just sit in a straight line and detonate the explosive as the wall of flesh walks over them. Did take some planning at first. Here, I was just testing it out. It's about 1,000, maybe more like 2,000 per explosive that actually hit him. I was doing a pretty bad job of hitting him at first, so I definitely decided to beef up the arena. And at this point, I know I'm pretty much ready. I just got to put some explosives down, get a few more banners for the imps, and I should be good to go. Once I've significantly improved my wall of flesh arena, I'll go ahead and take him on again here in just a second. But oops, I got to fish first. Not sure why. Probably just going to sell this all again later. Get some crates, but crates don't really do a whole lot, especially the wooden ones. So who knows what this is for. Here I do some shimmer reforging to get my bundle of balloons to warding, and same with my stinger necklace. I really like the bundle of balloons. It's almost as good as wings at this point, honestly. They're really basically just the same at this point, honestly. I never use the full flight of wings anyways, especially on this Don't Dig Up seed. Bundle of balloons is very good enough, especially if you got that horseshoe with it. And here, once I've got those to warding, I decide I'm ready for the Wall of Flesh, so I go ahead and summon him up by throwing that doll into the lava there. And here I've got a lot more buffs than last time. I've got some more banners, I've got some better spacing on the explosives as well. I've already done more damage this time. Got multiple explosives at some point, so here we go. The Imps aren't doing a whole lot to me. My Knight's Edge is keeping the Hungry away, hitting them with the explosives. And each one, as you can see, they're doing about 1,000 damage, so very good damage so far. Only need about 30 of these things, and that should be able to take them on. And actually, this is my second try, so if you're ever having trouble with the Wall of Flesh, this is a very good strategy. Definitely want to give it a try. Just make sure to build those pillars out of something that's not explosive. I use dungeon bricks. As you can see, I've got so much defense that he's really not hitting me for that much damage either. I'm basically at max health here. But as he gets faster, I just keep walking backwards more and more. And he's down to 3,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, and there we go. And I'm finally in hard mode. With hard mode comes the Demon Heart and a new accessory slot. But so far, like I said, the controls weren't as bad as I thought they would be. I think the most limiting factor so far is that I don't really have control over the dashes easily, or at least I don't think about it as much. The Shield of Cthulhu is definitely nerfed in this version, but it's definitely still a welcome addition for me to have whenever I do need it. With more practice, I think someone can become very good at mobile, especially if you're a freak that can play with a claw grip. There are a few suggestions I have to improve the controls significantly. I go deeper into those in hard mode where I think it mattered a whole lot more. And as you'll see, whenever I start messing with the controls, it gets pretty creative too. So if you enjoyed this, please stick around. I'll be uploading the second video soon. I appreciate any feedback. I look forward to your comments on this and the next video.